Good evening, all. Welcome to the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. John Hickman live from Smoothie King on Southwest 3rd. MacArthur, kind of near Reno, right by I-40. Lots of restaurants around here, but we are in Smoothie King having my angel food smoothie. If you've listened to the show, you know that when we come to Smoothie King, my typical go-to smoothie is the angel food smoothie. If you are listening, you can't see it, but if you're on Facebook Live, I've got my 32-ounce Smoothie King angel food smoothie right here. It is delicious, all right? So you can come visit us. We'll have some of the Bethany Broncos coaches on. I think we're going to have 3 coaches as the Broncos have wrapped up their season. Kind of an up and down season. 5-6 on the year after losing in the first round to the defending state champs, Elgin Owls. They took care of business against our Broncos 49-7. One of the things that we'll talk with the coaches about is that it even though the score was a blowout, I felt like Bethany played really well. They schematically, it was a great strategy, both offense and defense. Really, we just ran into a really good team. It was a team that was just ultimately better than where Bethany is currently. And they had a man-child on offense. Their running back, Meyer, was incredible and did a really, really good job against our Broncos. And so we're going to talk with some of the coaches about it. We'll have Coach Gonzalez and Coach Arthur on, and we'll get to chat. They're walking into Smoothie King right now, actually, as you can probably see on Facebook Live. Coaches, we'll get you on in just a minute. If you want to get a smoothie, then feel free to just watch the court as you go by or just sit here and hang out. You are on camera, so be careful. But the money makers are here, which is good. And so, yeah, pizza's here. There's a Supreme, I think, under this. By the way, Pizza Hut, want to give them a shout-out also for providing us some pizza. Of course, Coach Gonzalez skipped the healthy stuff and went straight to pizza. For the record, everyone saw it. Good thing Coach Pennington isn't here because he'd have a conniption fit over that. But I think that's the smart call, too, getting some pizza as well. Coaches, actually, I'm going to talk to both of you at the same time. If you want to go ahead and kind of get prepared, one of you can wear the headset mic. We also have a mic and a headset, and we'll get you all plugged in and hooked up, ready to go. You guys are veterans. You know how this show goes and how the mics usually work. Coach Gonzalez, we've had you on several times. And of course, this is really Coach Arthur's show. And usually you're not sharing the spotlight. Is it okay to have Gonzo on with us?
Absolutely. All good.
Okay.
All good.
Am I supposed to hear you through this?
Yeah. Can you hear it all? All right. Let me hear you talk a little bit, Coach. Let me see if I can hear your voice.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Okay. I can hear you. We're just not getting you into your headphones, huh? All right, we'll try to see. Can you hear it out of your headphone at all? All right, Coach Arthur's got us. Can you hear me, Ray? Okay.
Talking.
Okay, great. Well, we'll, in a break, maybe see if we can get kind of that fixed. In fact, we could switch you to another one here.
Like I said, I can hear you fine. I just can't hear you through the ear.
Great. Well, it could be you have a hearing problem. That just, I think you're one of the elder statesmen on the coaching staff. Okay. Wow.
Because
but that's just a young staff, right? That's just
that's part of it. It was really young 15 years ago. It's not as young as it was when I first started.
Can we ask your age? Is that appropriate?
62.
62. All right, you look great.
Lucky. I got good genes, parents. So mom, dad looked young. Dad was young when he was, or looked young, and mom doesn't look her age either. So.
Yeah. Is anyone back home listening? Because you usually have a crew at least.
Probably not tonight.
Okay, well, we got to text them or something. Yeah. I mean, they can get on the Facebook channel. They can watch you and enjoy that. I was just kind of setting up for us coaches and about what happened Friday night. I mentioned to our audience, I didn't feel like schematically or with our strategy I felt like we played well. The scoreboard doesn't really indicate that, but I thought overall our team had a really good performance Friday night. We just ran into a better team in Elgin. Is that your same assessment, or is there maybe you're kind of nitpick some of the other things that went on?
I mean, there's definitely some things that we could have done better, but I think like you're saying, I know certainly on the defensive side of the ball, I think we had guys in position quite a few times, and just you've got to be able to make the play and get the guy on the ground. And there's certain times we fit things up, and when they're pulling 3 guys on a kind of a relatively new play in the game of football, they call it super counter or super power, and it is they've got three guys pulling, and you got three guys fitting, and there's a chance they block it up perfect. And they did that a few times, and it's hard to get more than that to one side of the field unblocked. And so, just overall, like you said, had some guys in position, and I think outside looking in, I think it's the margin for error is really pretty small to create some big differences in the score.
Yeah.
And I think on offensively, we're able to move the ball quite a bit between the 30s.
Yeah.
And once you get on their side of the field, it gets a little more difficult. You got to sustain it. You got to be consistent, and just had some trouble with that.
Yeah. It really did feel like there were some times defensively when we would kind of force them or dare them to throw, and we handled that well. I thought Griner had a great game at cornerback, knocking down some balls, kind of left on an island a couple times too, and he did a great job. But honestly, I mean, the Meyer kid was he was fabulous, and I have to give them a lot of credit. And then you kind of maybe mentioned some of the blocking that helped, but he was a little bit of a beast, a man-child as well. And he was hard to bring down, right, Coach?
Yeah, and guys like that, running backs like him, they get better as the game goes on. As defensively as you get worn down, those kind of guys get better. And definitely saw that a little bit throughout the night.
Coach Gonzalez, you focus on that defensive line, and so how frustrating was that for you to kind of watch that play out in front of your eyes?
It's tough because,
I caught you on. He's eating pizza, by the way. He just wants to eat some pizza, and here I am asking him some questions.
It's hard on him because it's we're just not there yet. I mean, Breck is going to be, a lot more special. But just thinking about him the whole year, he's just a sophomore, so he's just learning. Chase Clanton was probably the best defensive lineman, but he was also the best offensive lineman, and he was also
right.
And so it's hard to play. James, I was thinking about that today. We played 9 different players, significant minutes.
Wow.
Either defensive end or defensive tackle that are coming back next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just hard. Because I always tell my defensive linemen that we're not judged on how many tackles we make or whatever. We're judged on how many tackles the linebackers make, because that means we're taking up blocks. We're taking on people.
Filling gaps. Yeah.
Linebackers run free and make the plays, and it's frustrating when I know that poor Marcus Lopez he got beat up because he's taking off on that counter, and he's trying to take on those big guys. And he did it all night, and we were there. Like I said, it's making a play. The scheme was there.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think we had a really good sense of what they were going to do when they were in certain sets, when they were in certain formations. These guys, Coach Arthur and Coach Morgan, are the guys that pour over the what is it? What's the word that they use now all the time on everything, the algorithms, the percentages,
analytics type stuff.
Analytics is the word. And they're really good at it. They Coach Morgan especially is very good at it. And I just play because the defensive line were within a little box. And so we had a good clue of what they were going to do. It's just at the end of the day, they're a better football team than we were. And I think I told you before the game, we'd have to play really, really good and then have some things go our way,
right,
in order for it to, to even have a chance into the second half. And those are one of those games that I told people all last week. We could play the best game we've played all year long and still get out of there with a 14, 20 point loss. And probably feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, they're undefeated for a reason, and a couple seasons in a row now. Coach Arthur, you mentioned our offense. Obviously, we didn't get points until that fourth quarter with Griner on that long touchdown pass. And it was a great play. But you said getting kind of to the 30 or in Elgin territory and things would kind of bog down or we would get stopped. As you're kind of processing that game, what would you attribute that to? Was Elgin doing something that was kind of thwarting our offensive attack at that point, or was it more something kind of self-inflicted?
Well, kind of speak, during the first half, obviously we were still, within striking distance as far as, if we make a play and score at some point there, it's a game. And I kind of feel a couple of those drives down there in that case, like, I think there was a false start penalty, put us in 1st and 15 at one point, and getting behind the sticks. against a team like that is it's just different than getting behind the sticks versus a Tecumseh or a Medill. They're good enough at that point to keep everything in front of them, whereas some other teams wouldn't be. And then, I mean, I know the drive. We also kind of had drive going, and it kind of stopped, but then we got the fake punt. Brody kind of ran for the first down.
Yeah.
I think we bad snap or some sort of
or something. Yeah,
something pushed us way back on
Right.
that one and just got behind the sticks. And so, some of those things are self-inflicted. But that's where the margin for error is small, because when you do that versus some teams, you got a chance. When you do that versus a really good team, you're pretty much dead in the water at that point.
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum on that fake punt. It was a beautiful call. It made me think it was almost like an RPO, not a run pass option, but a run punt option. It looked like he was going to punt, and then he saw the opening. Is that kind of the play call?
We do. I mean, he definitely has the option on that. If we give that option call, those guys, we've been doing that for. I remember converting one of those back against who was it? Was it Heritage Hall? Maybe that year Heritage Hall had Barry Sanders and Sterling Shepard. We lost 9-7, but I remember converting a big one in that game. It was kind of the first year we'd done that rugby style option, and that's exactly how it works. If he's got the ability to get it, go get it.
Yeah.
That's the coaching point on that from us. If you feel confident you're going to get it, you better get it.
Yeah,
you got to be 100% sure. And he was 2 for 2 this year on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he was a punter all season. Was that by design because it kind of confuses the defense a little bit, or was it necessity? I noticed the freshman Maxwell Green had a punt the previous game, maybe the last game against Medill, and he had a bomb. I thought he could punt.
Yeah, I think Max and Cody both, I mean, leg talent wise, could have done the job. It just gives us Brody obviously gives us a little different element in that fake option, and just being a guy who's kind of football savvy and been around the game, and that's a little bit more difficult as a punter than a place kicker. There's a whole lot more that can go wrong with the ball in your hands as a punter.
Yeah.
But we even saw that. I mean, even Brody didn't handle it very well against Ardmore. Should have just kicked that one out of the end zone. And so, just that's part. I mean, all those things kind of go into that. And again, he had punted fairly well for us, and you want to make sure you're in the right direction, depending on who the returner is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Coach Gonzalez, you talked about Brady being a sophomore and just the growth. I remember last year you saying he's a freshman. He doesn't even know what he's doing out there. You just put him out there, and he was still making plays. This season on the line, I mean, he's an impact offensive and defensively, but I felt like on the defensive side, he he had more of an impact for our team. He's getting some looks D1, and so how do you keep him grounded and hungry to grow?
Well, same things. Pretty much what I told him on Monday. The last thing I said is I watched the game Saturday. I get up Saturday morning. That's my routine. I go to the field and I grade our film, get our stats down, just the basic tackles and stuff. And I told him, I said, you are inches away from making big plays. And I said, the inches are your lack of proper technique. He's close. He's really close. He's a lot better than he was at any point last year at doing. And I talk to him about all the time. It's 4 inches, it's 5 inches, it's 6 inches. It's not you're not a yard away. You're inches away, and you'll see your first step is either backwards or it's sideways or it's 1 inch and it should be 5. So I told him, I said, listen, you got to get in the weight room. You know that. I mean, you've been on all these visits, and you see those kids that are already signed and are coming to those schools. And the big difference is you're the same height they are. You're maybe not the same weight yet, but I guarantee that guy out can bench press you 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And I said, you got to get stronger. I said, I know you're a basketball kid, but you got to find a way to get into a weight room. And I said, and then you got to find a way to this summer get into your footwork's got to be better. And he's getting looks more as a tight end than he is defensive end. But he wants to play defense. He doesn't want to play tight end. So I said, well, that's on you.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, he made some plays, but then he's got really close where he doesn't make a play.
Right.
And
he also gets held a lot too.
And it's a lot. It has a lot to do with the fact that he's not taking the right first step. Marcus was a better technician, but then Marcus
smaller, but man, made a lot of plays.
Yeah, he did. Because he was more technical. He was better. And Marcus only played a year. He really played half a year last year and then this year. So the ones that I've played in the last 5 or 6 years are really good ones. They're technically so sound, and then their athletic ability comes out just because you go in the right direction. My old saying is, it doesn't matter if you go 1,000 miles, if it's in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You can go 1,000 miles an hour, but if it's in the wrong direction, it's not doing us any good. Breck understands that, and he's of course he's got the dad there that has done it at a high level, at the highest level.
Yeah.
And so he understands because his dad's telling him the same stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's good. Ricky Brady has been very good for us on the sidelines, and then because he has never been anything more than just a mime, or not a mime, but a parrot. Whatever I say,
That's good.
he says.
Yeah. He's not contradicting you. He's not telling him to do something different that you're saying. It's good.
Yeah, that's what my dad's telling me. That's what's my dad. So Ricky's been a very good advocate for us as far as with helping talk to Breck and get him understand what he's going to do.
It's good. Well, this is the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. Coach Arthur, we'll talk about the future when we take after a break. But before we do that, just quickly, I'm curious. There's so much emotion with the season and then the last game, and there was some high points and there was a lot of frustrating points. But at the end, you still got to address the team, and you've got a handful of seniors this year. I mean, there's been more obviously in the past, but you've got kids that are hurt and kids that are maybe aloof. But what's your take on how do you address that moment? Do you do that on the field? Is it back in the locker room, or is it some sort of exit meetings that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I said a little bit on the field, and just kind of echoed some of those yesterday as we met with everybody. Echoed them a little more in depth, if you will, when we had some time in the locker room and all those kind of things. But just first of all, those 6 guys are important to what we've done not only this year but throughout their career, and most of those guys played a very significant role last year on a semifinal team, and in some huge wins last year, and so just. Can't say enough about what those guys have done over the years. And what I kind of told our kids is those 6 guys are, they're models of what to be. I think, I wish we had more of them. But they're guys that, man, those guys, I think if you watched any of our games, you watch Seth or Jagger play, I mean, they're just flying around on every snap, giving all they got. Chase is the same way. We've talked about Marcos. I mean, those guys, Teehee, I mean, it's just it was a group that they really embraced, what we talk about, playing with great effort and kind of, playing with a lot of heart. I know and I told them things didn't turn out as we wanted, but that's life. If anything's life, right. you can go through and do that. But I think they all kind of told me yesterday as I was talking to the seniors. I mean, they learned a whole lot over the last several years and even this year about things that were going to help them throughout life.
We need to get to break, but you brought up a memory for me in the game that I thought was really special, how you kind of subbed out each senior and maybe even a couple key juniors there at the end. So was that pre-planned, or was that in the moment, like, hey, I want to honor them this way?
No, just kind of did it in the moment, had some timeouts left and wanted to, Seth was standing there on the sideline, but at corner, I'm like, we need to, this is a guy who set a record that night. For history for our program, and
was that most receptions?
The receptions, yep. And so just kind of wanted to certainly honor him, and then kind of did it for some of those guys just to, this is, it took a little more time for some of the people there, and they probably didn't know what was going on, but
I did.
To those guys, they deserved that.
Yeah.
Chase didn't understand why we're throwing him back on the field. I said, "You just go out on the field, brother. We're gonna
1 minute.
Got something to do." And he said, "Just go out there and play." Coach Arthur mentioned something on the field too. There's only one team in Class 4A that gets to celebrate at the end of the season. Right. There's only one. I mean, so it's a game that it's just tough on people. I mean, even in the end. There's 2 or 3 really good football teams that aren't going to get to celebrate when it's over with.
That's right.
It's going to be a sad night for them. So, I think I learned as a player from failure as much as I learned from success, and so hopefully, we beyond 4 years in high school, we hope that at some point this is life lessons and all that other, all
Right.
the other cliche stuff you put into sports and football, especially, you hope that that's not just cliches and sayings
Yeah.
that actually is important to the
That's
kids. And I know how important it was to me,
Yeah.
and I lived and died by it. And I tell them all the time, you don't have to love the game. Just care about it for a couple hours, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll still, I mean, you go through that, you got kids on the field crying that hardly ever played.
Right.
And it just, you never see that it really means that much
Yeah.
to them until it's over like that. And then all of a sudden this emotion hits them, and it's, that's weird. It's just kind of weird sometimes, but it's a neat game, and I love it. And I love how the kids act. And we did have some great seniors, and that were perfect examples for the kids that are coming up that are going to have to be seniors and leaders next year too. So
a beautiful microcosm of life, the game of football. Coaches, I saw a straggler come in here. Maybe an Uber ride got him here, but Coach Pennington's also here. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to get him set up. He maybe even got a smoothie going. You get a smoothie going? All right. This is good. Coach Pennington has some energy. So excited about that. So we're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk about the future of the Bronco program. So y'all don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Who's got the sauce? Zaxby's does. Come by Zaxby's Chicken Fingers and Buffalo Wings at 5859 Northwest Expressway and find out why Zaxby's is Oklahoma's go-to for great chicken meals. Zaxby's has the chicken fingers, the sandwiches, the wings, and the sauce that will leave your mouth watering. Now with the all-new lemon pepper line of meals. Late Night Zax introduces the Zappetizer Trio and keeps the drive-thru open after 8 p.m. So use the Zaxby's app to earn rewards, and remember that Zaxby's will cater your event. Head to 5859 Northwest Expressway or call 405-603-8190 to make your Zaxby's order now. 405-603-8190. Zaxby's. Name brands and more for less at Victory Mattress Outlet. Welcome to Victory Mattress Outlet, 7101 Northwest Expressway in Oklahoma City. Family-owned and operated Victory Mattress Outlet has options for every budget, like quality 10-inch beds to high-end luxury mattresses fit for a king. You're the winner here. Shop pillows, protectors, bedroom sets, and more. And remember, the friendly people at Victory Mattress Outlet can help deliver, assemble, and set up your mattresses and furniture. Call 405-510-6988 and never pay retail price for top brands again. Victory Mattress Outlet, 7101 Northwest Expressway, 405-510-6988. That's 405-510-6988. Victory Mattress Outlet, where your best night's sleep costs less.
At the home of the Gotta Have It, you'll find Apple Tree Antique Gallery, located in the heart of downtown Bethany at 6740 Northwest 39th Expressway. Enjoy spacious shopping with up to 77 unique vendors across more than 10,000 square feet, offering everything from jewelry and clothing to one-of-a-kind treasures and so much more. Don't miss our third Friday weekend specials every month, and yes, we're open Sundays. Call us at 495-0602. Apple Tree Antique Gallery in Bethany, home of the Gotta Have It.
Come see us down at Smoothie King. We have two amazing locations to serve you. 5914 Southeast 15th Street in Midwest City and 5921 Southwest 3rd Street, located right in the heart of Oklahoma City. Folks, we have the awesome Dude Perfect smoothie. We have wonderful enhancements to get you ready for your workout. Rule the day. Smoothie King is your one-stop shop for delicious smoothie action. Come see us at Smoothie King.
Welcome back to the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show, a special end of the season edition of the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. John Hickman, I'm missing my partner. John Campbell couldn't be here. His son is in a competition of some sorts tonight, so we miss you, John. Hope things are well. We are live from Smoothie King, Southwest 3rd, MacArthur, near Reno, and all of that stuff. We're right across from McDonald's. There's a Starbucks in this area, Freddy's, Roadhouse, all that good stuff. But Smoothie King, place to be. We're having some smoothies here tonight. We also want to thank Pizza Hut for providing some pizza as well for our coaches. We have a trio of coaches. Coach Gonzalez, Coach Pennington is now joining us, and also Coach Arthur. So we have a little defensive side, offensive side, and the head ball coach all with us this evening. Coach Pennington, you haven't got to talk yet. I kind of wanted to focus a little bit more towards what's next for the Broncos, but since you haven't shared yet, maybe kind of just if you could summarize a season of what it meant to you and the impact or what you'll remember from this season.
Well, I was definitely, nervous when you only have one real or two real returning starters on offense. But these guys grew and they got better as the year went on, and I was really proud of their growth. And it's just looking at the future, really exciting that we're going to have about 9 of them returning. So it's going to be pretty great. 8 to 9 returning starters. So it'll be great.
So it's the inverse of this season. This season, everyone's basically gone, and they're all new, for the most part. But next year it'll be kind of different. A lot of people will come back. Do you, now we live in such a different age with the transfer portal in college, but the open transfer too in our state. Do you? I mean, do y'all have conversations about that? Do you talk with kids about that? Do they come talk to you? Is that even a conversation that's had at the high school level?
I mean, I would say it's not something we have a ton of conversations about at Bethany, just because we're in
kind of hard to get into.
We're kind of not in a position to even take transfers, which is, in the current climate of things is changing so quickly. I look where we were, even just 2 years ago. It's completely different now. What can go on, and we've talked before. I don't think that it's good for high school athletics. It's not the purpose of high school athletics for that to be happening. But it's and so I forget what question you and Coach Gonzalez were talking about earlier, but kind of popped into my mind that even more so, this just caused me as a coach to double down on the fact that we're here to help these kids prepare for life, and we're going to do it with who's walking in the door and who's in the locker room, and sometimes talent wise you may be a little down, but that's not going to change. That doesn't change the purpose of what we do as coaches or why we do it. And this year is a year we had a lot of great things happening off the field, and that's, for us, that's really what it's about. And we obviously we want to be competitive. As talking to somebody this weekend, I mean, we're coaching staff who most of us have coached in a state championship game and been in the semis a few times, and we didn't all of a sudden forget how to coach here this year. There's just, the margin for error is small, and sometimes kids have to grow, and you have to learn how to win, and you have to learn how to compete at that high level, and things can change really rapidly. We see that at the college level too. We can see a team that's really good one year, and the next year their talent level is completely different. And we're going to see that a little bit at the high school level now, unfortunately, from year to year. And there's going to be certain places that are more conducive to allowing transfers or have the ability for people to even move into the district, which we don't really have a great thing for that, just with the size of our district. And so again, our purpose is to train the kids we've got and to be leaders for them, and hopefully develop them into leaders. And whoever walks in the door, those are the guys we're committed to doing that with.
You brought up a couple of things I want to hit on, and this can be this first one for anyone of our coaches. I have some coaches friends, and they talked about how they've had seasons where they felt like they were a better coach the 5-6 season than the 9-1 season. Would you say that there's some truth to that, or have you ever experienced something like that? Like, I was a better coach that season that we didn't go far, or that than the one that we did?
Yeah, I think we all do at some point, because you have to work so hard to fill holes at times, and then there's other times. I mean, those years that with Sam Brandt and them guys, we still worked really hard. It's just the talent we were working with was really good. I mean, and so maybe we didn't have to make up one extra defense or one extra play, because we just didn't need to trick them or find a way to manipulate something, because we were so much better than everybody else. But we're up there. I mean, the weeks that we got beat bad, we were up there just as long on that Sunday. And I don't think I ever went into a week this year that you didn't go, well, we could win if this, and this happened. I don't know that I could do that going into a game and going, well, we can't win. I mean, just get,
Like if
get
you're
out of here.
Medill, not to throw them under the bus, but I mean, that's a whole different experience.
It's a whole different experience, you know, and we've all played against guys like that. You can look over the other side of the field, and man, how how bad would it be that that no matter how hard you coach, how you do anything, you almost have to play perfect, and the other team almost just doesn't have to show up for you to even have a chance to get close to winning.
Yeah, miserable.
Yeah. So,
Coach Pennington, you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's maybe. I think we're always coached the same, but like it is definitely sometimes more rewarding when you raise level of expectations within a season in a tougher year. But I don't know. I like winning. So, but
Don't we all?
But this year was definitely fun because yes, there was a challenge, but at the end of the year, like I think it wasn't until the very last 3 games that we had the same starting 5 linemen on offense.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys got to play, and a lot of guys proved that they can play. By the end, I had 7 or 8 guys that I could put in a game and feel good about, which sometimes even in a good year, you don't feel that way. So I don't know that sometimes these obstacles, they give opportunities to other kids and they end up flying with it. So it's always fun too. So,
yeah, at OU they use the term competitive depth, and maybe they use it at other programs. I just heard Coach Venables mention that. Do you feel like because of what y'all went through this season, next year there could be a high level of competitive depth going into it, especially with those some of those JV players getting more minutes on varsity, but you also have some 8th graders coming up that could actually push for some time too.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I mean, I think I've got only one senior with a lot of experience leaving on the offensive line, and then like I said, I felt really good about 7 to 8 of them. So that 6 or 7 guys fighting for 5, and then there's going to be some freshmen that are going to want to compete, and they're working really hard right now in the off-season program, moving weight. I was just bragging on a couple of them that were moving some weight, and they're going to want to get in here and get in the mix too. So it's going to be fun.
Coach Jones, real quick before I get to Coach Arthur, you seeing competitive depth on the defensive side?
Well, I definitely, like I told you, I played 8, 9 kids that are coming back next year that played considerable time, and that's without playing. Ozzie Brown could play.
Yeah.
Angel Lopez can play. But they were so important to the offense that just depth-wise, after Micah got the starting position, I felt like he needed to concentrate on one side of the ball, and I didn't need to worry about him over here on the other side of the ball. So, and I told every single one of those 3 especially, we got to be in shape because you got to play next year. You have to play both ways. I'd love to be at a 6A program, 5A program where you play offense or you play defense. Mm-hmm. You don't play both. Right. But at our level, we just don't have that luxury. But I think I've got 4 positions, and I've got without talking about freshmen, I've got 2 freshmen or 2 incoming kids that can rush the passer like you haven't seen at that young a level.
Wow.
Some of the things that they did naturally to rush the passer that I'd love to see get on the field. And I always like to try to get a freshman in early so that when he's a sophomore and junior, it's not the first time he's ever played on a varsity field in a real game when it really meant something. I think that's important.
Yeah.
And, so I hope we do. I hope we have a lot of, because everybody wants to play. And of course, everybody wants to play defense. The offense is hard. You got to know where you're going, what you're doing, and, when to do it and why not to do it. And defense, as long as you line up at one place, after that, it's just how much do you want to get to a football?
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And so Angel is always mad at me. Ozzie was mad at me. And, those guys wanted to play defense, and I just look at them and I'm sorry, but you're so important on the other side of the ball. and I can't take everybody. Somebody's got to play, but I can't take everybody. And so I've got a little bit of everything. I got some big kids. I got some smaller kids. I got a fast kid. I've got, that kind of stuff. I like to have a little choice. So I think it'll be important for us. I think it'll hopefully, that's what we get. We get the benefits of it.
Coach Arthur, we've talked about on some of our previous shows just about the off the field stuff. You kind of briefly mentioned that. So many good things. That's better than a state championship, honestly. There's been life change all over your team. And I mean, obviously, we've only been around 2 years with the team, but this year, just incredible stuff. And I know going into the season, you had this theme of serve. And so I'm curious, just now that the season has ended, what kind of impact do you think that had on the program? And then the second part to that would be, are you already kind of thinking of a word for next season?
Yes and yes. I actually, I was kind of thinking of something last night. I was reading, had kind of a scripture that had been going through my mind, and ended up the guy who's the head coach at another school in Class 4A. We're pretty good friends, and he actually posted the same thing as their season had ended. And I really think it's something we'll probably say a lot during the offseason. It's Galatians 6:9. It says,
don't grow weary.
Do not grow weary in doing good, for you're going to reap a harvest at the proper time if you don't give up. And that was really became a message that we had our kids throughout the year. You've got to serve each other. You got to keep putting in the work. You don't know why you face the adversity you face. You don't know why things go wrong sometimes when they go wrong. You've just got to keep going in the process. You've got to keep putting in the hours of work every day, whether it's in football or whatever else in your life that you want to be done well. And, at some point there's going to be a harvest in that. And so that's something that I kind of thought about through last week, just the whole big picture thing, all the injuries we faced, did not execute well at all that week at Hera. You look back on that game, that's the game that probably puts us as a 3 seed. And, you got a chance to still be playing this week in the quarters if you take care of business that week. We didn't do it.
Yeah.
And you don't know why. Yeah. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce the right way. Injuries happen. And, just that scripture's been big for me over the last few days. And you got to keep putting in work and dealing with high school kids, they have to learn how to put in the work. You have to help them learn what that is. They don't always see the big picture. They see, they can get really distracted and or disappointed in a moment just when one thing doesn't go their way. And so that's kind of, hopefully we can step in and help them with that.
That's good. So are you going to pick one of those words? Weary, grow, good, harvest?
I know there's so much good in that little deal there. And actually, I'd seen this in a football sense somewhere before, and it was in a book that I had that Dabo Swinney actually used that. And so I haven't gotten too deep into how we're going to use that yet. We'll kind of see how the off season goes and all those kind of things, but definitely a good one.
Awesome. Well, we'll take a short break here on the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. Do one short segment coming out of this break. We want to just hear what's the off season for you guys and for our players, and then what are they doing to ramp up for next season. So this is John Hickman on the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. I'm losing my connection here, but I'm back. Smoothie King is where we are. We're having some great smoothies and some pizza from Pizza Hut as well. So come join us if you want. Watch on Facebook Live. Share the word. We still got a couple more segments left. One more with the coaches. We'll be back right after this.
Come see us down at Smoothie King. We have 2 amazing
Lilygrass Flowers and Decor is rooted in rich history dating back to 1979 in the precious memory of Flowers by Roy. Alicia Rankins and staff have carried the commitment to only offer the finest, unique floral arrangements with same-day delivery locally and nationally. What you envision, we make reality at Lilygrass Flowers and Decor, 7101 Northwest Expressway. Call Lilygrass Flowers and Decor at 721-1813 and begin a new memory.
Tanko Mechanical, Electrical, and Plumbing is a commercial and industrial contractor. They offer end-to-end client experience that includes seamless communication, budgeting, staffing, on-site organization, and it's solid quality handiwork every time. The past projects include both new construction and repairs and restoration. Occupied and fully operational job sites are never a problem. They can also plan, manage, and build multi-phase jobs. We are a turnkey plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and mechanical contractor. Tanko Company, give them a call at 405-255-7804. Again, that's 405-255-7804. Tanko.
At the home of the Gotta Have It, you'll find Apple Tree Antique Gallery, located in the heart of downtown Bethany at 6740 Northwest 39th Expressway. Enjoy spacious shopping with up to 77 unique vendors across more than 10,000 square feet, offering everything from jewelry and clothing to one-of-a-kind treasures and so much more. Don't miss our third Friday weekend specials every month, and yes, we're open Sundays. Call us at 495-0602. Apple Tree Antique Gallery in Bethany, home of the Gotta Have It.
Welcome back to the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. John Hickman here, live from Smoothie King, Southwest 3rd and MacArthur, near Reno, I-40, all the good stuff. Smoothie King, been a sponsor for the program for a while. Also have some Pizza Hut. Having a good time out here with our coaches. Last Coaches Show of our season, and then we'll move into basketball. We'll talk with Luke Young here in a little bit about basketball coming up. He and I will be calling the basketball games for our Lady Broncos and Boys Broncos basketball teams. Looking forward to that. Speaking of other sports, I guess the off season for you guys isn't just a bunch of golf and chilling. I feel like, you guys teach, so that's a thing, and then probably moving on to other sports. So what's really kind of next for all of you?
Well, Coach Gonzalez and I are kind of in the weight room pretty much throughout the off season, and along with Coach Hunt, who's new to Bethany this year, he'll kind of be. He came off the strength and conditioning staff at UCO, so he'll be kind of helping us or doing a lot of the kind of leading that strength and conditioning program, and so we're excited about that. But we're in there with him, and we're pretty fortunate. We get our 8th grade, 9th graders to get to come and be with us in the off season. Starting in the spring, and they're in with Coach Pennington right now. But I'll go off to a little track and field. I'm a track guy and been coaching track for 19 years and love doing that as well. And Coach Pennington's going to go off to soccer.
Yeah, I'm right now with
Coming off a big season last season for that soccer team too.
Yeah. Right now I'm with middle school football still because we have 7th hour, and so until January, they're already getting in the weight room right now and getting after it, and they've been doing really good. So that's been fun, and then I'll transition to boys and girls soccer, and so that'll be what my spring looks like. And
Tell the world how the boys and girls soccer teams did last year.
The girls won the state championship.
Yeah.
And then the boys lost a heartbreaker at home in the semifinals. So both teams were really, really good, and both are looking to do some good things this year too.
I guess I should ask you too, how the track team do, Coach Arthur?
Well, I'm actually I do help with the high school. I'm actually the middle school girls track coach. We had a great year. No, I think we got a couple good. I think we won our Western Conference in both divisions of girls track. We've got a really good group coming up. Obviously, the 8th grade will be in high school this year, and still got a good group that'll be 8th graders, and so really excited about that. Got some. I want to say girls track wise, I think out of the 16 events in track, I think our 7th grade girls set records in our school all time in like 10 of those, and I think our 8th grade girls hold like 9 of those. So it was a pretty impressive spring from that group, and so excited to see them.
Before we talk about what happens in the summer, a lot of our athletes, of course, go on to other sports. Bethany's a big-time multi-sport program. Now, I asked this question, and obviously a lot of our players have to play, not have to, but choose to play their sport. And we're in a smaller school. So don't just say, yeah, I like it because we're in this setting. If you had a choice where a kid could just focus on football, would you like that? Or do you honestly like them playing multiple sports?
I think it's important to do both. But obviously, I'd love to have, 55 kids that are in football 100% of the time. I think we can get some good value out of that. But also, I know when I was a three-sport guy, and I wasn't very good at 2 of the sports. I was a 3-sport guy, but I was a 3-sport guy. And I enjoyed my time in the gym, and I enjoyed my time on the baseball field, and it was good to get away from football for a couple months. Football was, very important to me, and was always going to be what I was going to do for the rest of my life. But I think, you take our Major League Baseball player up there. I mean, he played football, he played basketball, and then he played baseball. Now, he was a baseball guy, and after every football practice, he'd go in there and hit.
Right.
After every basketball practice, he'd go hit and throw, and then when it was time for baseball season, he was a baseball guy, but he benefited from playing football, and he benefited from playing basketball, and so I think there's some good things to it, and I know I encourage it. Go get out. I mean, go out there. Yeah, I'd love for Brett Brady to be in the weight room an hour and a half every day, and only concentrating and watching football and with it. But that's me because I'm coaching football. But I've coached basketball, I've coached baseball, I've coached track, I've coached golf, I've coached girls softball, I've coached a lot of different things, and I enjoy coaching. And too bad that right here at Bethany the numbers just don't work out for me to be able to coach multiple sports. But I work every track meet that we host, and heck, even last year I went to a track meet on the road. Went out of town with them because I wanted to go be around a track.
Yeah.
I love track.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be around it. So I went to all the soccer games, and
I saw you at all the basketball games
go
too.
to all the basketball games. I like watching our kids do things and be successful. I went to a cheerleading competition, for God's sake, 2 weeks ago. Because
You're all in. You're bleeding purple.
I've got a couple of girls that were really good to me in class, and they're
awesome.
always so friendly to me and always nice to me. And they asked me to go. So, yeah, it was
great.
20 minutes out of my day.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Any other thoughts here from our other coaches?
I mean, I was just going to say, I think without a doubt, the number one thing is you want to get kids who know how to compete, and that's what I think playing other sports do. I heard one of the very first coaching clinics I ever went to when I was right out of college. I heard a guy who just won a state championship, and he was talking on this topic, and it was this school about our size, and he said, I would rather have a kid know how to be a competitor and be competitive, standing with his knees knocking over a 4-foot putt. Yeah, he might have missed the weight room that day, but he's learned some mental focus and some toughness and all those kind of things, and playing other sports, puts you in a competitive atmosphere every day. And there's a lot that can be said for that. And we still have a method for those kids to get in the weight room during another period of the day, and we certainly take advantage of that. And that's made that even an easier thing for us as coaches, is to encourage them to go play other sports.
Yeah.
And then I think, the research is there. You can see it, countless amounts of research that kids that play multiple sports are they're less susceptible to injury. They're healthier. They're using different muscle groups. And that, it's just, I think as a parent, my kids are going to play multiple sports as long as they can, through high school. So, it's just, I think it's important for kids to be well-rounded, and we're fortunate to be at a place where that can happen.
It's good.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think you want competitive kids, and the only way the kids are going to be competitive is if they're competing year-round. And so I definitely push it. And the kids that only do one thing, I try to get them involved in other things. Like I've been recruiting for track. I've been recruiting some of our guys to play other things because they need to be competing. Now, being in 6-hour weights is important, and we're going to have that too, but they need to be competing because that's how you get better, and you need to be working those other muscle groups, working with other coaches. I think that's important.
Yeah,
learning how to deal with people. Like it makes you better. You'll be a better football player if you're out there competing hard in all sports. I think it's always been beneficial for us.
Well, I just wanted to say, I mean, when you watch us play football, who's maybe our emotional leader and most competitive guy on the field this year was Seth. Seth's a four-sport guy. I mean, he's going to go play basketball here. And
yeah.
He's the goalie in soccer, really, really good at that. And they got a chance to win the 4x8 this year. He's running track, and was 158, 800 guy, qualified for the finals of the state meet in the 400. I mean, just exceptional guy in all those areas, and that's kind of just an example of that.
Yeah, I heard Coach Saylor once talking about getting another voice from other coaches, but also he kind of liked it when some of his best players would go to another sport, not necessarily be the best player, and to see kind of what that role's like and how to be a good teammate, and then how to treat others when they're maybe not the best, and kind of experience that from the other side. I always thought that was interesting for our Broncos as we look into next season. Obviously, they go off into other sports, but in the summer, you kind of get them together. Typically, Bronco Iron is a thing in the summer. So, what do our players do as they're getting ready for next season, leading up to the summer and then into the school year?
Well, I mean, it's a really awesome deal. We took over the program for all sports as far as the lifting program, and the numbers this year were great for the middle school. For the first time, I think we had 20 eighth graders show up every day, and this was a team in 7th grade that won one football game. Now, they were competitive in a lot of games, but this year they only lost 3 games and had a chance to win all but one. We let a game get away from us, but they were so much improved, and I think it has a lot to do with the buy-in from that group. And so we're really excited that with Bronco Iron, it was a great summer for a lot of these young guys, and so yeah, it's going to be fun this year.
Yeah, I mean, that the summer program is so important. Obviously, any high school football coach will tell you that. I mean, it's critical. And honestly, the most critical part about it is you're building that team and that culture. And you only you only build a strong team if you go through hard stuff together. I mean, that's how you become stronger. That's why, when you think about something like your family, like you're going to go through adversity as a family, and that's going to bring you together.
Yep.
You have to rely on each other. That's what it's no different in the sense of a team. And I think, like Coach Pennington say, and I think our middle school numbers were just off the charts this year, which was so great to see. And even, some of the greatest parts I are seeing, our girl athletes, our numbers were off the charts in girl athletics. Coach Pennington's out there running them every day, and they're coaching them up like they're high school football players. And
that's awesome.
And that's good for those girls to be, again, exposed to this other thing. And I mean, I think they've seen the benefits of that in our girls athletics as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, coaches, thank y'all so much for all that you do. And from the coaches show, the participation has been fantastic, to pregame interviews, to even Coach Pennington at halftime. You gave us an interview one time. And so you guys have been phenomenal here for the gospelstation.com, Sports and Talk, and for us broadcasting the game. So thank y'all so much. It was an incredible season. Maybe the record isn't what we wanted, but I'll remember that Blanchard game for sure. And the stuff off the field too has just been fantastic. And how you guys coach these men. I mean, they're young boys that turn into young men, and it's represented when they come and interview here too. You guys are making a huge difference. A lot of times you're spending more time with them than they're even their own father. So it's incredible what you guys do. So keep up the good work, and thank you all so much for joining us.
We appreciate what you guys do. I mean,
appreciate that.
It's good that we have some kind of exposure like that. The kids, this is big time for the kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
pretty cool.
It's big time for you too, Coach Gonzo. Come on.
I like it.
Come on. We love it.
I do.
Absolutely. I just echo that. Thank you guys for.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure.
For that every week.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much. We're going to take a quick break. Luke and I will be back to talk a little bit basketball before we wrap up. We'll be back right after this.
John Campbell is your local health market agent that specializes in Medicare. Instead of talking through an 800 number, talk face-to-face with your local agent, John Campbell, to answer all your questions and find the company that best fits your needs. John Campbell Health Market serves Yukon, Bethany, and the surrounding area and will travel across the state of Oklahoma to meet with you. Call John Campbell Health Markets at 405-200-8414. Call 405-200-8414.
Name brands and more for less at Victory Mattress Outlet.
Welcome to Victory Mattress Outlet, 7101 Northwest Expressway in Oklahoma City. Family-owned and operated Victory Mattress Outlet has options for every budget, like quality 10-inch beds to high-end luxury mattresses fit for a king. You're the winner here. Shop pillows, protectors, bedroom sets, and more. And remember, the friendly people at Victory Mattress Outlet can help deliver, assemble, and set up your mattresses and furniture. Call 405-510-6988 and never pay retail price for top brands again. Victory Mattress Outlet, 7101 Northwest Expressway, 405-510-6988. That's 405-510-6988. Victory Mattress Outlet, where your best night's sleep costs less.
Stephanie's Vintique and the Plaster Paint Company is all Oklahoma made at 3821 Asbury in Bethany, featuring vintage, chalk paint, antiques, clothing, vegan soaps and lotion, homemade cards, decor, and furniture. And space is available for rent to start your own business at Stephanie's Vintique and Plaster Paint Company. Call 405-249-3604 and see why people are coming from all over the metro for this paint and decor. Or you can visit us at theplasterpaintcompany.com and also see us on Facebook. Stephanie's Vintique and Plaster Paint Company in Bethany. Start your Vintique experience.
Looking for fast cash without the hassle? At Red River Credit in Oklahoma City, they've got you covered. They offer auto-secured loans up to $3,660, and the best part, no credit check. Need something different? They also provide traditional installment signature loans with a credit check. Whether you need quick cash or a long-term solution, they're here to help. Enjoy cash-friendly service with easy access online at redrivercredit.com. You can apply in person at 4571 Northwest 23rd Street, Suite A in Oklahoma City. Call 405-440-0582.
Welcome back to the Bethany Broncos Coaches Show. Boy, we had a big end of the season. Coaches Show with Coach Gonzalez, Coach Pennington, and head coach Coach Arthur all joined us here live from Smoothie King, Southwest 3rd and MacArthur Reno area, I-40, right here with all of those retail shops and restaurants. Great area, but stop by Smoothie King, get you a great smoothie. I had the Angel Food, which I normally do when I'm at Smoothie King, one of my favorites. I think Coach Pennington maybe had that, and then Coach Gonzalez had strawberry kiwi. We're having a good time. I'm now joined by Mr. Luke Young. Luke, the sports director for our GospelStation.com Sports and Talk. Luke, now I'm just going to call you the voice of the Broncos because we're heading to basketball season. You got to leave those Tuttle Tigers, thank the Lord, and come over to the good side, the purple side with our Broncos. And there's a lot to talk about, even though we only got a couple minutes here, but all new starting five for our boys. And then our girls lose a couple D1 athletes, and Caton Donnelly and Keziah Lofton, who went to OU. Caton went to ORU. But Cameron Regeer's back, Allie Lynn. There's still a ton of good players. Both boys and girls for the first time last year went to state at the same time, same season. This year, a lot of unknowns.
I was looking at the schedule earlier. Both dropped it in the state tournament, right? Just barely missed out on winning it all. Even with, on the boys' side, a whole new starting five, I'm sure that message is being sent very early, like, hey, that is the goal. That is state champion. I don't want to say state championship or bust, but that's what their sights are set on, right?
Yeah.
Even with a new coach, new starting five, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Coach Holliday, he was the assistant coach with Coach Cannon. Coach Cannon moved on to Piedmont, but Coach Holliday gets bumped up to the head man job. Of course, Coach Saylor back with our Lady Broncos, he's a back-to-back state championship coach. So I'm sure he's already setting that culture. The boys, though, they're the most intriguing. Denton Jaggers was a junior last year, kind of the only one to get consistent minutes. At the end, Brady, he was hurt a lot during the early part of the season. He kind of got into the rotation a little bit. Wyatt Kiefer is a beast. He dominated JV ball and then started kind of getting some minutes at the varsity level. But the rotation was pretty small last year. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Holliday does, but at least they know his voice.
Right, yeah. I had Coach Holliday and the men's team on earlier in this year for a coach's show, so we got to talk to him a little bit there, kind of see how they were approaching it, right? They want to keep everything in its place, but you can tell that fire is there. And, yeah, you're right. They do have some still big names in the program that we're going to see a lot of this year, so I'm super excited for that. You have a little bit more history with them than I do, so maybe for those first couple of games you'll have to lead in that direction, but no, I'm super excited to get back to this. And for Coach Saylor, right, I've heard plenty about the Sailor family,
Yeah.
especially that women's basketball team. So super excited. And yeah, December 2nd for the first game.
Yeah. So you've played baseball at college, right? So
Yes, sir.
you've kind of been in the athletic world. These basketball kids, tell me what your thought is on this, because these guys have been practicing together, getting ready for the season. However, it's not the whole crew. It's a skeleton crew, because a lot of these football players are about to join them. In fact, they might have even been at practice today, and now they're trying to get their in basketball shape, which is a completely different thing than football shape. But how quickly do you think you can find chemistry with these guys coming on board after having a football season?
Honestly, I think it might take them, a couple of games, 1-2 weeks to really gel and to really find their identity again. But yeah, I mean, they're all athletes. They've all been doing this. They're a little bit familiar with it. But yeah, basketball shape is a different kind of shape than football or baseball shape even. You'll never find a 11-man roster, whatever, like of taller athletes than when you're watching a basketball game.
Coach Holliday would never say it, but last year the football team went to the semifinals before they lost, and so those guys literally turned around after that loss, joined the basketball team, and played a game. I mean, there was no ramp, and I remember talking to those guys. They were like, "Man, we're just not in basketball shape." However, Coach Holliday's got to be, he'd never say it, he's got to be excited that they lost already so that there can be some practices, get some chemistry, and get them out on the court together.
For me, it's the injuries, right? You mentioned that with Brady. When you've got that quick a turnaround, no chance to rest, no chance to let the body heal, and then you're jumping, and then you're landing hard, knees, ankles, man. That's what I worry about, because football was already beat up. If basketball gets that same injury bug, could be a year.
Yeah, that's true. One player to watch is Wyatt Kiefer, who probably would be a starter. I'm not Coach Holliday, so I'm not sure exactly what he's thinking yet, but he's coming in with a stress fracture, kept him out of the last few football games. But he says he should be ready by December 2nd, something we'll keep our eye on. What about, we know the first game is December 2nd. Do we have a coach's show kind of schedule ahead?
Yeah, so that actually very first day of December, we're going to get the girls team on for a coach's show. Got Coach Taylor coming on with, I think, a crew of all seniors. So that'll be a very fun one to kick off the year. But at least I know for the first 3 weeks, it's women's, men's, women's, and then we had the Christmas break. So
awesome. Well, this is John Hickman, Luke Young. We'll be calling these games for our Broncos, both our boys team and the Lady Broncos. It's going to be a fun season. December 1st, first coaches show will be live on thegospelstation.com Sports and Talk, and also Facebook Live. Will we be live on YouTube as well?
Maybe if I can figure out Restream or something like that.
We'll try to figure something out. But then also, hey, this could be new information. We're going to broadcast the games. Is it audio only when we do basketball?
No, we're trying to get it audio video. We're going to try and find ourselves a wireless camera to get out there.
Okay. Hey, if you're technical and you want to help us and you want to support us, let us know. We would love to receive your funds to get some upgraded equipment. But we are shooting for video for our basketball games, which will be a lot of fun. So y'all make sure you stay tuned in with that. Like our Facebook page for more information and also links to follow. But this is John Hickman, Luke Young. We've been live from Smoothie King here, having a great time. Southwest 3rd and MacArthur. Smoothie King, where you ruled the day. This has been the last Bronco Coaches Show for football, but there will be more shows coming up. Luke, anything on the schedule before basketball?
I mean, I'm going to have a show next week, kind of wrapping up the entire fall season. So if you're looking for a comprehensive show to kind of catch you up on everything there before you head to winter next Monday.
Awesome. Jaden, I got to give Jaden a shout out right now. He actually didn't make my smoothie, but I'm still giving him a shout out because he's nice. So Jaden gets a shout out here at Smoothie King, Southwest 3rd, MacArthur. Until then, y'all have a great evening. God bless, and we'll see you next time.